Have you ever wished you could make homemade pizza dough like a New York pro? I can't promise you're gonna be tossing it 10 feet in the air, but I can promise you I'll have you putting beautiful pizza on the table to squeals of delight in no time. If you've watched my 3-day pizza dough recipe, you have had some containers like this in your fridge for the last 2 days. If you've had them in your freezer, good for you, I like a little planning, then you're going to want to take them out of your freezer the night before and put them in the fridge. The morning that you want to make the pizza, we are going to take these guys out of the fridge. You can lay them out in the morning before you go to work, but they're going to need a minimum of 4 hours on the counter. These beauties have been here for 4 hours and they've risen to perfection. Stretching fresh pizza dough can seem a little intimidating, but I promise you, becoming a pro at this just takes a little bit of practice. You're going to want a little bowl with a bit of flour off to the side, and I always love using my bench scraper for this. I'm just going to quickly dust my surface with the flour, use my bench scraper to pick up my dough ball and place it on my counter. Cover these guys up for some beautiful pizzas I'm making for you all that I cannot wait to share. Next, we're just going to give this surface a little bit of a dusting, and the first thing we're going to do is simply squeeze down into the middle to start to form the crust ring. So I'm just pushing down and out. One of the things you definitely want to remember when you're stretching your pizza dough is that you want to be pushing out. You don't want to be pulling from the center. You want to be pushing this ring that we're creating away from the center, and that'll help stop the center from tearing. So we're just going to continue on like that. And once I can get in there, I can start to really get my hands in and pull. If you want to do this the easy, Heather, sneaky way, let gravity be your assistant. And we're just going to pick up the crust. Again, I'm holding from the ring and I'm just going to let it pull itself. Once it starts to get to a good diameter, we can do the Novice version of throwing it up in the air. Just a little bit of tossing back and forth between our hands. You can see this beautiful air bubble. This is what's gonna make that beautiful bubbly crust. So we definitely don't wanna pop any of those. And we're just gonna keep continuing around. Sometimes I open it up and sort of really, where these edges have really fat bits, I'll pick it up from there and sort of put some extra tension on there to pull out just that bit. Now, the other thing that can happen, and I don't want it to upset you if it does, is you can get a little tear in your dough. If that happens, you're just gonna pinch it back together. It's no big deal. The only way to learn and get great at this is to keep practicing. Tears will happen and you'll get better and better at stretching your dough, I promise. And you just keep working on these techniques. Now, you don't wanna get too big. These pizza doughs end up being around, I'm gonna say about 16 inches in diameter, and the recipe that I gave you in the video with the 3-day pizza dough will give you 3 of these. Sometimes right near the end, I sort of hold the outside because I don't want to pull any more from that center. I can already see that it's starting to get a little bit thin. Oh, and there's a tear that's just gonna need to be closed up. So I'm just gonna work on this outside portion, being really gentle with that edge because I wanna keep as many of those air bubbles intact as possible. And there we are. It may not be perfectly round, and your first one may not look perfect, but I promise you, you're still putting pizza on the table and no one is gonna complain. I love this short-handled pizza peel. I have no idea where I got it, but I'll leave some links to something similar in the description box below. By the way, if you haven't been here before, my name's Heather. I'm a home cook whipping up beautiful vegetarian and plant-based meals for myself. I'm a vegetarian, but my husband and daughter are meat eaters. And I'm sharing all of the meals that they love to eat with you. All we're gonna do is rub some of the flour into the pizza peel. I give it a little tap off, and then we just slide our pizza crust right onto it. And there you are. You just made the most beautiful homemade pizza dough, stretched it out into this glorious crust, and I bet you're ready to top it with an amazing pizza idea, which I have for you in this recipe right here. Once again, I'm Heather, and I do know what I'm making next. I really hope you're hanging out with me in my kitchen when I do it.